memories maybe just shit then.
I mean, there was a lot going on, and you literally got knocked down to 1 HP, and then got sucked by an emissary of a god. You know, where Crix was just making this deal.
Crix did a thing.
Crix did a thing.
Crix did a thing.
Which is just par for the course.
Yeah.
What will Crix do next time?
I don't know. Bird's gonna stop planning on things of like, oh, Crix is totally gonna do that, and I'm gonna just pull a 180 and go the opposite direction.
I actually usually expect you to go in the opposite direction. So if I present you with a thing, I do it with the assumption that you're going to ignore it and go off and do something else. That's
so you're giving me the harmony treatment. Got it.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
One of these days, Crix will do the expected thing, and it'll shock everybody.
Although,
that'll be the true.
Harmony usually takes it next level and then like picks the absolute worst possible thing that she can do and does that.
Yeah, she's playing like an evil character. I'm not.
Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, I think everything goes very well, regardless. But yeah, my expectations are usually like I know what Briar's going to do in most situations.
Yeah, she's predictable. I'm also predictable.
Tacitus is usually going to just like be upset and go with the flow. Elwyn's going to like half engage and then fly away, and bide his time, engage the situation, and strategize, but in a panic.
He do be playing it safe.
So yeah, I think I sort of got the baseline of what's going on, and yeah, Crix is always just gonna like look at all of the things going on, pick the most obvious thing, and then turn away from that and go in the opposite direction.
Sometimes.
So what you're saying, Bird, is that I need to now completely change my character archetype.
If you'd like to.
Just to throw you off a little bit.
I welcome it. I absolutely welcome that.
Alright. Elwyn goes insane. New arc.
New arc.
I mean, I think that's the current arc, isn't it?
No, not quite. We can go there.
It's been interesting for Elwyn for sure.
We can really lose sanity. That's an option. Anyway, we got a path ahead of us.
Yeah, one second. I am just finishing up getting the last of my notes out that I forgot about.
Okay. I'll take this opportunity to grab a snack.
Yeah, if you want to take like a couple minutes, real quick. I'm just pulling out the last of my notes. Since I was reminded that Crix likes to go in the opposite direction. Never hurts to be prepared.
I've had a tension headache today. It fucking sucks.
Oh shit.
I think I've been like sleeping badly and like clenching my jaw too much, so I'm pretty sure it's like muscle stuff.
Those headaches
Can't believe clearing UCOB didn't fix it.
Yeah, definitely. You know.
Crazy.
What are you guys gonna do now that you're done with UCOB? Moving on to something else?
We're not doing anything before the next patch. I don't think we have enough time, honestly.
Gotcha.
People want a break also, so it's like
if
we were to do it, like I think if we had the same group and everyone wanted to start like next week, you know, we could get through T like right when the next patch stopped, started, but then we'd also be going hard again for another like 2 months and then going right into raid. So
yeah, I get that. That's a lot.
After this next raid tier, I assume we're gonna have a decent chunk of time before we get
quite a while
new content, right? So it's gonna be
it'll be summertime.
So that'll be a good time to slot in an ultimate or two, because it's like, what else are you gonna do? The content track after.
Everybody here and ready?
Yep, I'm good.
All right.
Yep. You said that as I put a chip in my mouth, and I was like, oh no.
It's all good. Okay. So yeah, where we left off, you did your demon flight, ran into some trouble in the air. You ran into some resistance from Erebos himself, in the form of his reaching tentacles that you've sort of seen throughout the underworld. Also ran into an Archon and some form of undead force that was risen from the waters to sort of pursue you. You interacted with an emissary of a Theros, who, with payment, allowed you passage, sort of recognizing that you weren't deceased souls, that you didn't belong in the underworld. His whole purpose, is to ferry souls through the underworld to bring you to your proper place. So, in his eyes, it was his duty basically to return you, get you out of the underworld. So we left off with you having that interaction with the emissary, stepping away from the emissary as he continued his duties collecting souls on this island. Before you lies the dark pathway on this island of just small little bluish green flames that are lit up, tethered to that emissary of souls that he has previously collected. He advised you to follow that pathway, and you will find a small vessel that should ferry you from the underworld.
I guess I have a question about like god alignments.
Okay.
If I could roll on that, maybe.
What's
I'm
your
not good
question?
at religion, but I guess like are there of like the general like what's the way to phrase this? Like lore about gods, is there like is it like known which gods are more in league with one another? I guess is how I would try and phrase it, right? Because like it's speaking meta wise, like it's a bit surprising that there's some gods that aren't like that are willing to do this given like how everything else has been going.
Sure.
So I was wondering if there was like any like known factions, I guess.
Yeah, I follow you. Go ahead and roll religion, and let's see how you do.
My really never mind. Fucking ignore my question.
just roll a 1.
I got a 2
Oh no.
with my -1
Oh
is a
no.
1.
Jesus Christ.
So
Tacitus was really trying.
I
There
know
was
that there
some
are
gears
gods.
grinding.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Tacitus is pondering the depth of religion at the moment, and just seeing an emissary of Athreus is deeply, deeply considering what that might mean. Isn't really coming to any conclusions.
Yeah.
I'd say, do you want to ask another member of your party who may be a little more religiously inclined? If you are reaching this point of confusion within your own mind.
Sure, yes. I guess the way I would phrase it is, well, I guess are we out of like earshot of the emissary?
Yes, yeah, he has moved on.
Okay, so then I guess the way I phrase it is like, how can we be sure? How can we trust this other god given what we all in theory know?
Crix would know the most of the gods.
I mean, it's not a specialty of mine, but I do have a vast interest in the abyss and whatnot, seeing that my knowledge has come through quite a few times.
So far, you've known the most about our whereabouts here and such details.
Well, you say, I have an issue with a certain betrayer god, and he represents in the abyss, Hells. So I like to be informed. As far as this god goes, they ferry souls to where they need to be. So because we're not dead in what's nuts, after talking to his emissary, he saw fit that we should be where we should be, which is on the side of the living.
Do you want to?
Like,
Go ahead, keep on. Sorry.
God.
I was gonna say, so is there like how would phrase so is there no like hierarchy of these gods? I'd assume that there was a leader that the others just followed what they said.
It's
Go ahead and roll religion, Crix.
I'm gonna assume you're gonna probably
Let's see if we can
give
get
me the same information. 21.
potentially. Okay. So, given Tacitus's musings, the best information you can recollect on the gods in the pantheon, you know that there are alliances, there are disputes between the gods, and they take each other's sides, and they take shots at each other, and so forth. You know, the most well-known dispute is between Heliod and Erebos. I believe I've told you all the story of Erebos' origin, the myth of his origin, how he became. That might be group 1, so let me know if I haven't.
If I recall, I don't remember.
I don't think I remember that. The one god that I remember knowing about is the one that the gold mask stuff is based on, right?
Finax.
There was Finax.
Okay.
But I don't. He wasn't a god initially, right? Like
No, he was a mortal that was murdered and taken down to the underworld, and he, through some method, ascended to godhood and escaped the underworld as a god. The unfortunate nature of that is that he actually swam the River Tartix and lost his identity, so he doesn't actually remember how
he
did it and what happened to ascend him. If any of the other gods do know about it, they don't talk about it. And they don't fill him in on it. He doesn't actually interact with the other gods. He's sort of on his own and keeps to himself. He's actively known to despise most of the other gods, so they also sort of despise him as somebody who's just sort of rose up amongst them unopposed.
But yeah, as far as I know, that's the only origin story that we know about.
So I can give you the myth of Heliod and Erebos. So Heliod was one of the first gods. He claims that he was the very first god, but that is widely seen as just an arrogant lie. The very first god is said to be Clothis, the goddess of fate, and roughly originating around the same time as Clothis is Crufix, who's sort of the god of time and mystery and that sort of thing. The two of them they warred out with each other and eventually came to a peace and started to create Theros as it is today, at which point these other gods started to emerge. Heliod was one of the first ones to emerge as this world was being created. Heliod emerged and gave light, created the sun, gave light to Theros. But as he created the sun and turned around, he saw his own shadow. He immediately feared and despised the shadow, so he removed it from himself and cast it off into what became the underworld, his shadow ascending to godhood in this dark place as Erebos. So Erebos, mythologically speaking, is the shadow of Heliod. And the two hate each other, absolutely. Heliod despises the existence of Erebos. The fact that he created Erebos of himself makes it worse. Erebos also despises the fact that he was created of Heliod, sees himself as stronger, more powerful, hates the light, pursues darkness, and generally contends with Heliod at every point. I'd say, are any questions there? I'll continue after.
Makes sense.
Sounds like a very Greek style story.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess the question I'd have is
I'm going to give you a little more information on god allegiances and so forth as well.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So gods like Clothis and Crufix, Clothis herself is known to mostly detest every other god in the pantheon. She hates all of their arrogance, their disputes amongst each other. She thinks they're for the most part, creating opposition to fate. She hates it when they interfere in the things that are happening on Theros. She believes that all beings should be left to their fate. Nobody should try to interfere for personal gain, and that's what happens with a lot of the gods. They will use mortals and any other beings as they see fit to gain more power over one another or just for themselves in general. So gods like Klothys are usually sequestered away, and she keeps to herself. All the other gods also fear Klothys because Klothys is the only god known to be able to actually have an impact on other gods, aside from maybe Perforos, who can create things that can hurt them. He's sort of the forge master of the pantheon. But Klothys can actually sever the ties between gods' realms and mortals. So if she so chose, she could completely shut off a certain god or all of the gods from those that worship them, from the world of Theros, lock them away in their particular realms. And it's a power that she has because she essentially created this universe. So she's very much feared. Gods like Heliod especially sort of denounce the fact that this is the thing that she can do. Heliod has often tried to ascend himself and call himself the leader of the gods, or the god of gods. At which point, gods like Perforos, the Forge Master, actually tried to defeat him in combat, forged weapons to try and kill him. It's created a lot of disputes amongst the pantheon itself. Other gods try to keep themselves. Karametra, the god of the polis, usually keeps to herself. She just likes to maintain the grandeur of the cities themselves. Nylea, goddess of the wood and of creatures and so forth, likes to stick to her realm. She never really leaves her realm. She defends creatures of all kinds, be it beasts or monsters or squirrels and birds, anything like that. So as long as nobody fucks with her realm, she's cool. Thassa, the goddess of the sea, usually aligns herself to whichever god is going to gain her more power. She's a very power-hungry goddess. Others like Theros. Theros is a very solemn, cryptic god. He is generally disliked by a lot of the other gods because he does hold a bit of sway, wherein they can't sort of touch his realm between. So he seals the underworld off, and he's the one that sort of makes the decisions on where souls are directed. Once they leave life, they die, and they enter the underworld, he directs them to the places they need to be. And he oversees that. So he sort of sees his role as very important and doesn't like any of the other bullshit that gods get up to. Especially when the gods like Phonax are returning souls from the dead. Gods like Erebos are trying to manipulate things to collect, more souls or specific souls, that sort of thing. Theros is very much against any of that manipulation or tampering. And for things like that, he sort of has more of an allegiance with a goddess like Klothys and Krufix. But that's the sort of allegiances that you would say.
Okay. So I guess the follow-up question that I had then is, since the entire thing started and we were going to quote unquote go to the realm of the gods, right? And with that, the rift initially with the ship, and I guess this current mission that we've been in theory told about.
Right.
Is there is this unified realm of the gods a specific thing, or is it more just a thing that leads to?
So
I guess I'm having a hard time conceptualizing what a realm of the gods means if there isn't that much of an alliance between them, or if there is, then what does that actually look like?
So for the most part, the gods all exist in their own realms. Some of those realms they actually maintain on Theros, like Thassa, as the goddess of the sea. Her realm is the ocean. The entirety of the sea on Theros. There are specific places that she's said to sort of make rest, as like a home or lair location, basically, under the waves. But for the most part, they all exist in their own specific realms. Now, Nyx is the actual quote-unquote god realm. It's where they separate from the actual world of Theros. If you were to walk into Nyx, there are several realms where gods actually choose to live there. And all of these realms are tied through or connected to Theros in some way, to some tether. For the most part, it's only through a couple locations mythologically. One of them is said to be a Crufix temple at the very southeastern edge of the world, surrounded by like a mistland. Nobody's really been there or survived the trip back. But it's said if you go there and gain the blessing of Crufix, you can move on to Nyx and step past the barrier. The underworld as well is one of these realms. You have been in a Nyx or god realm in the underworld. This is Erebos's realm. The Tardix River is Erebos or Theros' realm. So in this area, you are in a sort of realm of Nyx already. You just can't reach any of the other worlds of Nyx because it's tied to its own location. Other areas like Mount Hyastos, which is one of the areas that you'd reach by entering Nykthos, which is the temple at the top of the Phoenix Stairs. One of these locations, that's one of the only, if there are any others, locations where you can enter Nyx from Theros. But Mount Hyastos is said to be the home of Perforos. Deep inside the mountain, he holds a forge there. Keranos is said to live on Mount Hyastos, as well as Heliod has a grand temple there. Any sort of area that Nasa deems her home at the moment becomes a Nyx realm called the Mystic Sea. It's said that you can access that if you step through the portal of Nykthos or through this temple of Crufix and enter Nyx. You can easily reach Thassa's sort of mystic sea. It becomes sort of the ocean of Nyx, wherever she chooses. And it has like a tether or a barrier that you can pass into the Sea of Theros as well. The Tovian Fields are an area of Nyx that Group 1 has actually seen. That's sort of an endless battle. It's the origin of the Nyxborn, which are these Nyx energy sort of godlings, sort of creatures. The gods create them. The gods AOS and Mogus, the god of victory and the god of slaughter, are waged in an endless war on the Tovian Fields, and the both of them endlessly spawn Nyxborn, creating these creatures to just do battle with each other endlessly, because they both have a need for it. They need, AOS has a need for overcoming massive odds for victory at all costs. It's all he wants. Mogus needs absolute slaughter at all times. He needs to be engaged in war and in battle just for the joy of it, basically. He doesn't care about glory or any of that. So the two of them are just locked constantly in war. And surrounding the Tovian Fields and sort of creating a border between these realms is the misty sort of existence of Crufix. Crufix has taken it upon himself to create these barriers to contain things like AOS and Mogus's battles, to contain Heliod and his realm on his own, and also from them interfering with each other and sort of destabilizing Nyx as a place for both him and for other gods as well, and to keep it from spilling out of Nyx into Theros. So he sort of keeps them bordered in. If that explains it a little better for you.
Yeah. I understand more now.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
It's not how Crix explained it.
yeah, you can.
Yeah, so is this like general knowledge that we would have from just existing in Theros, or
On some level,
having read a book or two.
On some level, and we can say that as you're traveling this pathway, through this island, following the path that Athreos' emissary pointed out for you, Crix can be sort of explaining this in so many ways.
In a more Crix-like fashion.
Yeah, Crix is just rambling, I guess.
Well, Crix, I would say, and this is what I would explain it as, is
it's more or less like humanity, with hierarchies. You have the king, queen, such and such, but everybody rules their own areas and they stick to those areas. Yes, they have alliances, they work together. Otherwise, it's the same thing as down here. It's just they have more power.
They just
Okay.
they're not all friends.
No,
Absolutely not.
That's
some
basically it.
some do their own thing. Some work together. Some butt heads. It's just like anything else. It's a bigger version of humanity.
What's that?
I said Tacitus would understand that explanation.
Yeah. I have a
if you-
question though.
Okay.
The underworld
Yes.
does not just belong to Erebos. There's several other gods who take part in, I guess, the ecosystem of the underworld.
Not
that
really.
right?
It's the underworld itself is Erebos' domain.
Okay.
But the borders of the underworld and the barriers of the underworld are the domain of other gods. Klothys herself
Okay.
has been known to sort of delve into the underworld and choose portions of it to be her domain because she can do basically whatever she wants.
Right.
And in the history, there's myths that Klothys actually went down there and took over portions of the underworld to sort of reel Erebos in because he was sort of extending out and sending creatures of his creation out into the world of Theros, and it pissed her off because he was trying to gain power, basically, or gain ways that he could strike at Heliod. And it was causing havoc in Theros, and it was defying destiny and fate. So Klothys went down there and, for millennia,
Put him in his place.
just like raised hell, created creatures of her own, and sort of just tormented him as sort of punishment.
slap some shit and slap some
Exactly.
Some
learning
sense into him.
And this was something that a lot of the other gods enjoyed. They loved it when she was down there. But Phoenix, another reason that a lot of the gods hate him, when he ascended, sort of goaded Klothys to emerge from the underworld. Most of the gods enjoyed it while she was down there because her attention was on Erebos and nothing else, so they could kind of do what they wanted.
Right.
Phoenix, being sort of an agent of chaos after his ascension, decided to goad her back up into the world and sort of direct her attention to all of the other gods. Sort of show her in a vast, like, deceptive way, show her what they were doing in her absence, which just inflamed her as well. So she emerged from the underworld at some point, and has been sort of aggressively pursuing punishment for all these other gods as well.
Okay. So the underworld is Erebos' domain, but
yes, it is. It's a Nyx domain, but through Krufus's barricades, it is a Nyx domain, but it's very much disconnected from the rest of Nyx. Like, you can't exit the underworld and emerge into another Nyx realm. And then the river Tartix is like the halfway point. Half of the river Tartix is connected all across the world of Theros to the world of living. And there's a barrier. As you perish, your soul crosses that barrier and you enter into the Nyx realm of the underworld. Theros, that is his domain, that entire river. So his domain is part underworld, part Theros.
Okay. So I guess I was curious because like Arthurios is the one who's leading us out now, and like his emissary was able to do that. So it was like, okay, he has some assertion over the underworld. Even though it's Erebos' domain, he can do things like remove souls that don't.
Though, and the river is Theros', or what's his name?
Athreos.
Domain.
Yep.
Athreos.
Right.
And
so
Athreos' domain right now.
Could he have done that even if we were back on the shore?
No.
So he could only do that because of our location currently.
Yeah, once you sort of got onto that river, you were subject to you were in his domain, in his realm.
And Erebos is able to bring his forces into the river.
As long as it's before the barrier that would return you to the world of living. The opposite side of the river of Tartix.
Run to the bathroom.
Okay.
I get it now.
Yeah, so it does get a little confusing. Again, this is like very Greek mythology based, and it's all very abstract. So it's
a lot of godly politics involved.
There is a lot of godly politics, and the thing to know is that their realms do sort of rub up against each other, and that's what creates a lot of the opposition between gods. Is when one realm of a god sort of projects into another, and they butt heads, over power struggle, basically.
Encroaching on territories.
Exactly. Like I mentioned, Nylea, the god of the woods, the god of creatures, basically keeps her domain around the city of Setessa, and only really gets along with Karametra, the god of the cities, and so forth. But if anybody fucks around and steps into the woods, any other god, be it Heliod or Erebos or Clothis or anybody, steps into her domain and starts killing creatures or burning trees, that kind of thing, she's going to step up and start to oppose and use her power to do so. But otherwise, she'll keep to herself. It's like, don't step on my toes, leave me alone. I'm not going to fuck with you. But then gods like Heliod are very much known to constantly step out of the... Because Heliod, you see him, this is the god of the sun, the god of light. He sees anything that light touches as his, right? So he's quite often stretching his power and pushing his limits. And I mentioned again, he also sees himself as like a god of gods. He sees himself as the most righteous, the most powerful, that sort of thing. So very often he'll push his limits and piss people off. But at the same time, gods like Aroas unify with him because he is seen as like this majestic champion,
Yeah.
And Aroas respects him because he sort of is always searching to win, to rule. And that's Aroas' thing: victory, insurmountable odds, conquering, that sort of thing. That's why Aroas is sort of the main god of the city of Akros, because that's what they're constantly doing is expanding and creating war and conflict.
Conquest.
Exactly. But yeah, so any other questions about any of that? I know it's a lot to take in. But
I think that covers everything for me that I need to know.
It's a good thing to explore now that you're actually interacting with some of these entities. Okay, so if we're all cool with that, you walk for a ways. Crix is sort of rambling on still about the gods and mythology and his understanding of things, and what he's seen and heard and read. Sort of just continuing on this pathway. As you travel, you see a small sort of stone enclosure. It's also partially ruined, like most of the things on this island, but there is a small green glow coming from within the structure, and it's sort of the end path of these little glowing lights that you've been following. As you get within about 400 feet of it, though, you start to hear the sounds of struggle. It's over the hill off to your right, closer to that sort of massive looming creature that's still up above and sort of directing the forces that are pursuing you.
What scale of struggle? Like, is it a small thing, just a couple of people, or is it like a large scale?
Every now and then you hear a very high-pitched scream, and the sound of a blade make contact with another blade. I'm going to link the image for this guy as well. Just
on a scale of skirmish to war.
It definitely sounds like skirmish. If you want, you can sort of move to the top of the hill so you can get a view of it. It sounds like it's just over the hill off to your right.
Should probably go see. It might be someone we knows.
We are missing someone.
We are.
Oh,
I know you all desperately really want to get him back.
Yeah, sure, Crix. Whatever you say.
So moving
as long as we don't get too close.
You want to cautiously move up the hill and see if you can get an eye on what's going on.
Just a peek.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you all sort of move off to the side, off the pathway for a moment, creep up along that hill. Looking over the hill, you can clearly see your good friend Sam Stricken.
Oh, God.
He's being pursued slowly by a very dark, demonic-looking entity. I'm going to give you the image of that here. Sort of wielding this shadow energy. Every now and then it slowly whips out at Sam, He slashes his sort of scimitar-like blade at this force and continues to run away as the creature's like slowly pursuing him along a very small, almost riverbed along a section of the water that leads to the Tartix River. Sam very much trying to avoid that water and avoid capture by this creature. You can see his bird as well, sort of keeping ahead of him, flying off, landing maybe 40 or 50 feet in front of him, waiting as he reaches him, and then continuing to pop up into the air and move on forward away.
Is he moving away from where we are?
Sort of in the same direction opposite you. So he's moving towards the area where that structure is, but further away from it.
Okay.
The same direction you were going.
How far away? Because I know exactly what Crix would do in this case.
Roughly 350 feet or so away from you guys.
350?
Yeah. You can just sort of barely make him out and hear his very high-pitched shrieking when this creature sort of gets closer and starts to try and lash him with these sort of shadow tendrils.
I just want to make sure. Okay.
Elwyn shrugs his shoulders and says, "Well, good luck to him. we should get back to our path." He looks like he has that under control. He'll be fine.
If we leave him here, he will die.
Yeah.
That thing looks terrifying.
Given distance and everything. Yeah, no. Let me pop up a program real quick for some dice.
Good boy.
Crix is the computation meme right now. He's just got a lot of forms and figures floating in front of his face.
Look.
My boy's running equations in his head right now.
Yep.
Well, I have certain things saved. So do that. Roll this dice. Do it again. Does a 26 hit the figure?
What are you trying to... Yeah, it does. What are you doing?
I am instantly shooting my great bow at it.
Okay.
And as I do so, I just kind of yell out, "Shitstorm! Shitstorm!"
Oh no!
You do. The bird looks in your direction and just replies, "Shitstorm! Shitstorm!" And it
I'm
actually
guessing there
pops up
isn't
and starts
enough
flying
time.
towards you, Crix.
There's not enough time to intercept Crix while he does this, is there?
How do you want to do it?
Well, I'd probably try and grab him, but I assume there isn't. I'm wondering also what Tacitus would do in this situation. I don't know if Good is back yet, but
I'm back. Honestly, I am probably just I am just beat. I think at this
you're
point,
dead.
I don't think Tacitus is going to have the energy, even though he probably thinks that this is a miserable idea. I don't think he has the energy to try and like forcefully stop Crix right now.
Well,
I'd say
I'm gonna try and grab him. I don't know if I can react fast enough to Crix's action.
Yeah, roll against each other's dexterity. So both roll dexterity with your bonuses, and let's see who's faster.
Dexterity?
Yeah.
18.
If I'm not faster.
Yeah.
All right.
That shot off.
So
shit.
roll your damage. Elwyn dives for you and connects with you just a moment after your shot fires off.
Bang! 25.
Okay. So the shot just... Go ahead.
That's with the straight, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, D6. Do I get bonuses for, like, anything else?
I
don't know if there's, like, regular bow damage and then, like, my dex on it, or what.
No, it's just the D6, plus your dexterity, sorry.
Okay, so 26.
And... yeah, that's all you know about the bow so far. So the shot travels through the air, connects with the back upper left shoulder of this creature, who sort of takes the blow. The arrow penetrates straight through him, sort of leaving this hulking mass hole that black smoke starts to pour out of. You hear a shriek that almost deafens you. You all sort of cover your ears at the piercingness of this shriek as the creature slowly turns around, looks at you, and you also notice in the same moment that massive hulking winged creature in the sky also turns its face towards you. That sort of golden spotlight almost emanating from its base, traveling slowly along the ground before it encapsulates the hill that you're atop.
I just kind of
Elvin looks at Crix and just says, "Sure hope you know what you just got us into."
Roll initiative.
First you save our lives, Crix, and now you doom us all. What are you doing?
19.
Well, this is appropriate for me. 5.
I'm so glad the dice are in my favor right now, only to probably betray me in this.
I have like no resources left.
Yeah, same.
dirty 20.
So I'll say I have a +8, but first roll of the night is a 1.
So
Nice.
Yep.
Nice, perfect.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
All right, so let me do this guy's roll really quick.
I literally
You guys
have
had such a nice,
nothing.
safe path out of the underworld.
I was ready to go. I was like, screw Sandstricken. He's fine over there. I'm like, I have no spell slots.
Look, you guys should know by now that Sam's my informant. We're frenemies.
It's true.
You gonna start a podcast?
It's fine. It'll be worth it, TPK.
You get to,
Isn't that right, Sam? Right? Shitstorm, the bird knows.
It's the bird's gonna be the only one that survives this fight.
If we don't make it out of this, I'm going to kill you.
We're already in the underworld.
Owen is like
I know.
looking back at the path and ready to hit the bricks. Just not bad.
So, all right, let's begin. The creature, the shadow creature, has the first move. Sort of turns towards you with its eyeless face, leans in and lifts its arm up and throws them straight out towards you. And you see these shadow sort of tendrils start to dip into the ground and travel underneath. Below you, the ground starts to shake, but nothing immediately happens. Sam starts screaming, "Yes, my friends! My friends!" Just running towards you full speed as fast as he can. The bird is well ahead of him on its way to you, Crix. Elwyn, it is your turn.
What if I took this opportunity to hide inside my genie's vessel? I could do it. I could lay it down somewhere inconspicuous and just jump in.
I told you, this is how Elwyn plays. This is how I expect.
Yeah, run away. Abandon everyone else.
Take me with you.
I could take up to 5 willing creatures with me into this thing.
Oh.
And we get a short rest if we stay in it for 10 minutes.
Remember, the object itself stays present within the world.
Yeah, it's just a little sword scabbard. We could hide it under some dirt. They'll be none the wiser.
Assuming they don't know how to find magical things.
Yeah, we'll assume that they don't.
Yeah, the
They'll be
massive
too
creature
distracted
with
Crix.
with the ethereal spotlight definitely won't be able to spot it.
Shit. I guess we're fighting. Okay. I guess we never figured out my sword situation last time.
Sure didn't.
So I'm gonna use it anyway.
Okay. Well, you're. What are you going to use it against?
Oh, there's nothing next to us, is there?
No, he's a good 300 plus feet away from you.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll Eldritch Blast at it.
Okay.
Instead. 3 beams.
You guys could run.
Hello? Oh, okay. I don't know what just happened. Disconnected.
You good?
First roll was a 17. to hit.
17. That is not a hit.
The second roll is a 22 to hit.
Hit.
And the third roll is a 27 to hit.
That's a hit too. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Let me roll my dice. What the hell? Where did I put it? There it is. Okay. So the first one is going to be 17 damage.
Okay.
And the second one is going to be 18 damage.
Okay. So yeah, first shot falls off to the side. The second 2 connect with him both, once in the chest and then once in the lower leg, so to speak, of this creature. You can see sort of the spells connect and make damage. They don't seem to have very much effect, but he does take damage. Anything else, Elwyn?
Strongly contemplating jumping into my genius vessel, but I'll save it for another turn.
Elwyn looks conflicted. Crix.
You say he's about 300 feet away from me?
About, he's sort of moved up to about 320 away from you now.
320.
Yep.
Wait, it got farther away?
No, he was about
No.
350 way to start.
Oh, sorry, I heard 300.
So if I do that. Okay. So Sam is 300 away. Roughly, right?
Yeah, just about 300. Sprinting for all he's worth.
Yep. Let's do this. I'm gonna put the bow on my back. I'm gonna stop rushing forward. Bonus action. I'm gonna turn into an air elemental,
Okay.
and I'm going to dash 180 feet towards Sam.
Okay.
That's
You
my turn.
you just about reach his bird that is careening towards you.
Yep.
Okay, that brings us to Briar.
With the trajectory, is the thing approaching us, or did it just send the shadows into the ground?
It's approaching you as it sent those shadows into the ground. The ground
Okay.
itself is sort of lightly rumbling beneath your feet currently.
Yes, lads! Do something. This is a distraction.
It shouts
Is
the
the,
air elemental in a wisp-like manner.
Right. I would like to hide somewhere, like between where we are now and its path approaching us.
Wow. Given Elwyn shit, and yeah.
Well, no, because I'm hiding so that I can attack and hold an action. Is there a place that I would be able to hide as this thing is approaching us? And also, I would like to not be where the ground is rumbling.
If you wanted to move down the hill that you sort of got to the top of to get an eye on the situation, there's a couple ruins down there that you could sort of duck into.
How far?
About 30, 40 feet. You could reach them with your movement. I'd say if you slid down the hill, I'd give you an increase in speed, and you can very safely get in there with your regular movement.
All right, sure. Briar is gonna curse and slide down the hill to hide behind one of the ruins.
Okay.
Elwyn is just thinking of the last creature we fought and how that went for us. Is heavily concerned.
So you get into position and hold an attack?
Yep.
Okay. Tacitus.
How far away was the boat or the thing we were headed to?
I'd say moving up along the hill, you probably got within 280 feet of it.
Is that closer to the thing that
No.
is going to attack us?
Nope. Sir, if you're looking east, he's there, and looking north would be the direction of this area. Of this ruin with that sort of green glow where you know you're heading.
I want to swing west. Not directly north. I want to try and make further distance from me and the thing, but I guess if you had to have a direction, northwest.
Okay. So sort of running away from it, but also towards salvation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna move, and I'm gonna use cure wounds on myself.
Are you going to explain anything, or are you just booking it?
Well, from my perspective, Elwyn just fired a thing at it, and Briar ran towards it. So y'all are committed to fighting.
Committed is a strong word.
Oh, that's great. I healed for 6.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Oh,
And is that your turn, Tacitus?
Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. So as you sort of move up in the direction at the end of the round, you hear a massive roar off in the distance from the direction that you came. Very reminiscent, Tacitus. You can recognize it almost immediately because this creature had its sort of jowls right over your face not long ago.
Oh no.
this is good.
You can assume that the Archon has been made aware of your presence. Also, as you run off, you can clearly see at the edge of your vision, way off down the pathway, those shambling sort of skeletal creatures that had come out of the water, slowly moving down the pathway. You can only see 3 or 4 of them right now, but you can easily assume that there's more where those came from. Give you the image of them again as well.
I think I will yell what if I can.
Sure.
I think I'll yell, "Stay if you want, but this is foolish."
Okay.
Gotcha.
It brings us back around to our dark friend. So he continues pushing himself forward, not very quickly, just sort of slowly floating above the surface of this island. There's sort of shadows around him, overtaking most of the ruins and areas around him as he approaches. From under the ground, these shadowy tentacles start to burst forth and emerge. Briar, right outside of the ruin that you're in, you can hear them sort of burst forth. You can see sort of the dust and dirt from this ruined island start to throw itself up into the ruin that you're in. Cricks, 3 of them sprout right next to you. They sort of lash at your form as you move through. You take 16 points of damage. It is necrotic damage.
No saves or anything.
No saves. This is just straight damage, just whips.
16. All right.
Yep.
So,
Tacitus moving away, you avoided a lot of the damage. These things sort of erupt almost like behind your heels as you run away from that hill. Most of them condensed around that point on the hill. Elwyn, several of them snap at you and take shots at you. You avoid a lot of the damage, but you end up taking 13 points of damage necrotic as well.
Half, because I'm resistant.
There you go.
Would that be 7
Round.
or 6?
You can do 6, right down.
Ah.
You start to feel an increase in heat. The entire area now is spotlit by that massive creature, and you sort of feel it heating up the environment around you. Not causing any impact yet, but it's slowly like increasing at a point that you definitely notice it's getting hotter in the vicinity that this sort of light is being cast. Which brings us back to Elwyn.
Okay. Lovely.
Also, sorry, Sam is still full sprint, moving directly at Crix at the moment, the air elemental form of Crix.
Has it been 10 minutes since our last fight?
No.
It's probably been like 2 minutes since our last.
I'd say it's been like 5 or 6. You did walk a bit of a ways, but yeah, not very long.
Okay. I guess I should roll concentration on my spell then. I don't know if it wore off or not.
What was the spell? Was it from last session?
Investiture
Oh.
of Stone.
Got you. Yeah, you can roll, especially with the whipped attacks. You can roll the concentration. Forgot you had that up. Okay.
We're good. We're good. It just means I can move through the ground if I want to. Okay. Tacitus has hit the bricks. Owen is very much starting to lean towards that direction as well. Hiding doesn't seem logical anymore.
Mhm.
The only question now is, do I want to travel by air or underground? Does underground seem unsafe right now?
I mean, you know that these sort of shadowy tentacles are bursting up from under the ground.
So it's probably
So
not
make your
wise.
judgments based on that.
Okay, well, I have 2 more elemental flights left. So I'm going to burn the second last one.
Okay.
And I'm going to take off after Tacitus.
Okay, so
Just full on dash in the air.
okay,
I'm not flying too high. Probably like 15 feet off the ground.
gotcha. So take off up in the air, and then the rest of your movement to pursue Tacitus.
Yep.
Okay. All right, that brings us back around to Crix.
I'm going to assume he's more than 90 feet out. So I am going to
Just a bit more.
dash. Yeah. I'm going to dash. How far away can I get to him?
What's your dash speed with the elemental form?
It's 180 because I got 90 flying.
Okay. Let's see. With him, he moved here, so you can get about halfway. A little more than half.
I thought he was 300 out.
Yeah, a little more than halfway.
Yeah, but I already double dash last turn.
Oh, I forgot you moved up. Sorry.
Yeah, so I moved 180.
So you did 180 on the last one.
So it'd be
I didn't
360.
I didn't mark your move on the last turn. Hold on. So 180 up. So yeah, you can on this turn with that dash you can reach him. He's moved towards you as well.
Yep, I'll get to him and just softly whisper. Language he probably doesn't know. You better be with it.
Well, you can speak as an elemental. It's just not. It's difficult to understand. But you can speak whatever language you want.
You better be with it, you bastards.
Gosh.
He looks up and he's like, "Crix."
I'm gonna grab him.
Okay. He gives you another shriek as you lift him up.
And it's not head back towards the group as much as I can, and that'd be it.
Okay. Directly back to the opposite direction. Okay, Briar.
Briar is cursing even more. She heard Tacitus shout. She saw some shit happen.
Yeah, you didn't see Tacitus or Elwyn run away at this point because you moved down the hill, so you're not even aware.
I didn't see them, but I would have heard him shout.
You would have heard Tacitus shout, yeah.
Would you not have seen me since I'm in the air?
Well, I was hiding.
Briar moved down the hill, slid down the hill, and you're still on the opposite side.
So I want to look for them. Likely not see them.
Yeah, you can just see the creature, as well as elemental Crix, and Sam Stricken and his bird. The bird is like circling around Crix.
And she is going to yell in frustration and run.
Back up the hill.
Yep.
Okay. Roll athletics for me as you move back up. It's an unfortunate situation.
Oh, that is a -1, 15.
Okay. So as you sort of dash up the hill and get almost to the point of your hands and knees as you're sort of climbing up the hill, you take a couple opportunity attacks from the tendrils down below.
Okay.
Oh no.
The first one slaps down in front of you, misses entirely, but the next one connects with your back. You take 11 points of damage.
All right.
And then the final one whips at you, just barely slides past and hits along your side, just barely, almost making contact. You can feel sort of the burn of it, the necrotic burn of it as it gets close to your waist. But you make it about halfway up to the top.
I presume that's not something I can uncanny dodge.
No.
Yeah, didn't think so.
Yeah, these are opportunity attacks as you're like rushing up this hill.
But also, I want to take the dash action, so 60 feet total.
Okay, so you can just about reach the top of the hill here.
Yep.
As you reach the top there and peer over, you can clearly see Tacitus and Elwyn moving away. You also see a good amount of those tentacles sort of between you and them.
Cool.
Tacitus.
How far away is the ship?
You moved your full and about 260 feet roughly, I'd say, with if you'd use your full movement to push forward to it.
I'm gonna dash, I guess.
Okay.
So my base speed is 40 feet.
Okay. So you can pop 80. So
I regret not taking the teleportation ability.
Minotaur in full gallop to get the fuck out of here. You're a distance away now. Those tentacles aren't affecting you, so you're good. Is that your turn, Tacitus?
Yep.
Okay. At the end of the round, you start to see a shadow pass over you, Tacitus.
Right.
Looking up, clearly recognizing sort of the form of that creature, the mounted Archon, passing over you somewhere in the darkness. The Shamblers you see in the distance, they are sort of pursuing, but very slowly as they trudge through. You can see more of them sort of appearing. But they're still a good ways away from that origin point on the hill that you had started. Briar.
Mm-hmm.
Several more tentacles burst forth as you see the emissary so slowly, like hovering and lurching his way forward with his arms still spread. 3 of them make contact with you. You take 29 points of damage, necrotic.
Oh my god.
Can I uncanny dodge any of this?
Roll acrobatics, because you are still sort of on the edge of this hill. So if you do, I'd say you put yourself at risk of potentially sliding down.
19.
Okay, so yeah, you successfully sort of roll, and you can uncanny dodge it, avoid half the damage.
Okay, so wait, I'm sorry. What was the number again?
You can take 14 points instead.
Oh boy.
Fine, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
I'm like I said, grabbing Sam.
Yeah, you're taking damage. It's not your turn yet. Sorry.
Oh,
This is still the
You're staying
emissary's
hurt.
turn. Yeah, this is the emissary's turn. So, being the bulk that you are and moving through, I've got, let's see how many of them. 6 of these sort of shadowy tentacles burst forth out of the ground and strike you.
okay.
You take 54 points of damage.
50. What?
Necrotic.
Are you striking against my armor class? Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are fighting.
They-
Oh, you are?
right now.
Remember, I have monk levels.
They all rolled a 21 plus.
Yeah, my okay, even with monk.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna knock me out of my form.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
Yikes.
Actually, no, it doesn't.
I
No,
thought
it
you,
doesn't.
yeah, I thought you had a little more. You're almost.
What was
there,
it?
right?
Was it? What
50,
was it? 50.
54.
Yeah, I'm
54.
still barely in it.
Yeah. How much HP do you have, Marks? You have, like,
I have 70 damage marks, so I got 20 hit points left.
yeah, okay. Just want to make sure we're looking at the same stat block. Yeah, perfect. Okay. You can also start to feel the heat increase, and you can see the ground almost sizzling at this point. You start to like feel the effects of the heat while you're in that spotlight. Briar as well on your back, you start to feel it. The battlefield itself right now is definitely getting dangerous. Brings us back to Elwyn.
I should have taken Dimension Door. I should have done it. Why didn't I take Dimension Door? Shit. Okay, Tacitus is ahead of me.
Yeah,
Briar
Tacitus
is behind me.
full gallop on his way out of here. He's done with this shit.
I guess I'm how far behind Tacitus am I?
You're a good. He moved at 180 feet, so you're
120
100.
then.
No, if you move forward, yes, you were behind him at the point that he left, so you are now 210 feet away from Tacitus at the start of your turn.
God damn, boy's fast.
Oh, he didn't move 180 feet. I was looking at Crick. He
Yeah,
moved
I was gonna
80.
say, God damn.
80.
I was like,
80.
it's like that man is moving.
Yeah, I was looking at
dashed
Crick's movement.
last
Yeah.
turn, so that was 60 feet of movement. Well, yeah,
Yeah, and he was still ahead
maybe
of
a
you.
little bit less.
So you're actually 100 feet away from Tacitus.
Okay, and then how far back is Briar from me?
Top of the hill, roughly 70 feet. Sort of like right at the opposite end of the hilltop.
Okay, trying to see if there's some way I can help Briar, but I don't know if there is. This is a terrible situation.
All for Sam.
Let's do the thing.
It's a
Team
very
City, Philadelphia.
it's heroic.
Too heroic for me. I'm trying to think of what I could do here, but I don't know. Is Briar surrounded by those tentacle things right now?
That whole hill is like in captured with them.
That's gonna be difficult. If I could like fly back and like grab Briar. Well, I don't know if I could. How heavy is Briar? Is Briar like large?
I think like 110 to 130 or something like that, probably rough, right?
Did I write it?
Because she's kind of small scale, I think.
Yeah, she's
Roguish.
like around 140-ish.
Okay.
Could be between 130, 140.
Don't know if I'd be able to. Well, I could probably.
It'd be a
carry
strength
Briar.
thing for sure, yeah.
Guess who's not very strong? Elwyn is not very strong. Ooh. What I could possibly do. Actually, I don't know if this works like this, but my sanctuary vessel. I'm thinking if I flew back to Briar and
Pulled her into your vessel.
pulled Briar into my vessel, but I think it's unclear if I have to be in the vessel as well, or if I can just.
No, I believe it's the way that it's written out is that you can choose yourself and other creatures. Like I don't think you have to. I'd make the call on that. You don't have to be in there. You could also bring other people into it.
Okay. All right. I think that's what I'm gonna do then.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Is it a bonus action, or is it an action? I think it's an action to do it.
I can look it up too if you want. Let's see.
Bottled respite. One action.
It is an action, yes.
Okay, so I guess what I'll have to do is. It's going to take my full dash to get back to Briar in one round, right?
It would take basically all of your movement. Yeah, it'd be on the edge. So I'd say if you gave it your all, you could reach Briar.
Okay, I'm going to go for it.
Okay. So how does this happen? Give me this story, Elwyn.
Elwyn is in the air. He turns back for a moment and sees this hill covered in these dark tendril-like things. Sees Tacitus way far ahead. Sees Briar getting attacked by these things. He makes the split-second decision that he wants to at least make an effort So, coming up with this idea in the spur of the moment to transport Briar in his vessel, he like really like crouches down, I guess, and just like takes off as fast as he can, flying towards Briar, pushing his wings, I guess, as far as he's ever done, and just goes full speed, aerodynamics,
Okay.
wings tucked, everything just going. And that's what he's doing.
You reach Briar, and how do you want to do this? Briar, Elwyn appears above you, majestically.
Uh-huh.
Elvin's gonna yell out, "I need you to trust me," and says, "Just agree to enter my vessel," and holds out his scabbard to his sunblade.
Oh man, Briar is a lot panicked.
I'm still doing phrasing.
What?
Nothing. It was a bad joke.
Doesn't really trust Elwyn, but also doesn't trust the stretch of tentacles coming out of the ground either. If you and whatever you've got going on in that gets me killed, I'm gonna fucking murder you. I trust you.
I can't make any promises, but it's better than this certain death.
Oh, Jesus.
Character development.
And then I'm gonna activate my vessel's sanctuary and
Briar.
assign Briar to it.
Yep.
You go inside?
Yep.
Okay. As you willingly make the acceptance, you are immediately warped off of the hilltop into a sort of 20 by 20 cube. This space is sort of intermixed and swirling with this gold and black energy. Almost deafening roar of these two spirits. You can sort of see their sort of hulking forms, one this like fiery gold, the other one this grayish black, battling amongst each other, sort of in an almost like you see your parents arguing when you're a kid. Except they're 200 feet tall, and their essence is the entire world that you exist in. And they're roaring at each other in a language you don't understand. It sounds very sort of like celestially demonic almost, but you can't quite put your finger on exactly what it is. And it's so loud that it like renders you unable to hear anything else. You have to cover your ears, get on your knees. You slowly see them also as they're sort of arguing start to notice your presence. And we'll pause it there for that
All right.
All I can say is Crix would never want anything more chaotic. He loves it.
Am I able to give a brief message to my pets?
I'd say as a bonus action you can, yeah.
I'll say. I was gonna say, listen, Pasha and Oth, we're in a little bit of a life or death situation here, so I'm gonna need you two to try and cooperate as much as possible, please, and thank you. Or else I'll die. You'll be left in the underworld, abandoned forever. So, thanks.
Signed, Elwyn.
Signed,
Just
Elwyn.
like a scroll pops out into this like genie space. You just hear Elwyn's voice say that exactly.
Elwyn is stressed.
Oh man.
Okay, noted.
It's like the Mario 64 like opening like cutscene.
My
Anyway, that's it. That's all I do.
Well, you didn't get a response yet. This is the very end of your turn. We're going to bring it around to Crix.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop making my way towards where they are. after their little action. Except the way that I'm going to be moving towards them is I'm going to be kind of like elevated and somewhat up in the air. I'm trying to get high enough that I think the tentacles probably wouldn't hit me. So like maybe 40 feet up in the air.
Okay.
And I'm going to dash so like 180 towards their direction.
Okay. So you can reach the hill at this point. You're not able to climb up just yet, but you can reach. You're at at that range. You're about the midpoint of the hill.
Okay, 40 feet off of the ground.
Yeah, that's like about the midpoint on the way up.
All right, cool.
And you still got Sam in your grip, yes?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
hoping the bird is.
Yeah, the bird's following along with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That brings us to Briar.
All
So,
right.
as the sort of arguing stops and it becomes like this sort of incessant, almost maniacal whispering back and forth, as you can hear like a lighter toned over the more serious, darker toned. The two creatures themselves, both of them, start to like lean in. They're sort of just elemental essences. Again, the essence of Oath is just this blackish gray swirling energy, almost faceless. It begins to form like eyes and a bit of a mouth every so often. But for the most part, it's just a faceless, sort of almost humanoid hulking form. Again, Pasha is sort of the same essence, more of like a goldish, orange, fiery essence. He has more of the facial features. You can sort of see a nose that you can make out. His eyes are just glowing golden orbs. And he does have a mouth, and you can see it move as these whispers sort of cascade over this entire plane. The two of them both slowly lean in until both of their faces are within just 10 feet of you, staring at you on either side. What would you like to do?
Well, previously the din had brought me to my knees, so I'll stand up, cross my arms, kind of look between them. And she's just trying to figure out, like, what the hell has Elwyn been dealing with? What the absolute fuck is this? And eventually just kind of tip her head to the side and say hello. Pleased to meet your acquaintance.
The immediate response you get, you see the blackish grayish figure lift its fist, its right fist in the air, and begin to slowly bring it down. It slams into the essence of the space around you, sort of covering you in that sort of black grayish mist. The face leans in closer to you, and sort of in a sort of growlish roar. It's, bow down, mortal. Serve me.
Who are you?
I am Oath. Serve me.
Absolutely not. I'm here for a moment. Thank you very much. Gonna be on my way. You can just have Elwyn.
Its hand like opens up and begins to wrap around you. We're gonna pause you there. Then go to Tacitus.
They're not tied there, Briar.
Still running.
Still running.
Yep. How far away is the boat?
You're going another dash 80 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are about... Let's see, you went... Getting everybody's movement confused. I need to separate it on this list here.
I think I've had 3 moves.
Yeah, you've had 3 full.
I've had 3 moves, but
this is your third.
One of them was a single move.
Yeah.
And a cure wounds.
Yep, I've got you marked here. So you're about 80 feet away.
Oh. So I'll be able to make it.
From the entrance of this place. Yeah, it's a small ruin. It's got sort of like
a... Or would I be...
At the end of this move, you're about 80 feet away. So on your next round, you can definitely reach the doorway.
Okay. And you said that this is a relatively small thing, right?
Yeah, it looks like a very small ruin. It's got a small stone archway. The interior has got a very bright greenish glow to it.
Okay.
Flickering makes it look like it's more flame lit on the inside.
I think the most that Tassus would do at this point is maybe glance over his shoulder, but would still be moving forward the entire time and not really intending to stop.
Okay. And that's your turn?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the distance, sort of looking over your shoulder, as you reach the end of your movement, you see the figure of that Archon, that mounted Archon, dive from above the island in this swirl of energy and crash onto one of the hills, shattering one of the ruins nearby. About 120 feet from you, sort of dropping down and assessing the environment right now.
I'm going to. I'm not going to curse out loud, but I would like to have it noted that Tacitus's current thought process is just whatever curse word he knew, probably as a child, if Minotaurs have their own form of language. Just
absolutely.
Like if I was just saying shit, 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 shit in my head, something like that.
Okay. Creature doesn't seem to hear you or notice, but it is.
Well, I'm not saying it. I'm just thinking it.
Got you. Yeah, it is actively surveying and sort of getting an idea of what's going on here. And that's that. So he's not going to move anywhere. He's going to land there and just sort of stop and gaze around. The creature, the dark, sort of shadowy creature, the master of these tendrils, is moving forward again. The only person that he's nearby now is Crix and our boy Sam. So again, you're sort of reaching this hilltop now where all these tentacles are bursting forth. You can feel them sort of coming out of the ground behind you and towards you once again.
Hoping I'm high enough.
You take
I'm not high.
4 hits.
Oh boy.
You take 43 points of damage.
Yikes.
Which knocks you out of your form, I believe.
Yes, it does.
So knocks you out of the form. You and Sam are dropped and go stumbling down the hill.
Down
Sam,
the hill?
Yeah,
Great.
Down the hill. You were sort of above it on the slope of it, so you hit the hill and you slide down to the bottom. In your new form. You see Sam, he sort of looks panicked, but he's obviously had something prepared. You see a scroll in his hand. He shouts up at the bird. He's like, "Come on! Come on! Crix, come here.
You better have a fucking good ideas.
Crix,
getting us out of here.
Take my hand."
I've grabbed his hand.
Oh boy.
So as the bird lands on his shoulder, he unfurls the scroll and it sort of gives this radiant light, and you're both sort of overtaken by this purple sort of essence of a doorway that closes around you, and you find yourself teleported in front of Tacitus in the doorway of that ruin leading in front of that green flame. Sam just dimension doored your ass out of there.
Thank God.
Should have taken Dimension Door.
He's breathing heavily. You saved my ass, so I'm not going to charge you for that one, Crix.
Why didn't you do that to begin with?
You fucking grabbed me!
No, I mean beforehand!
I forgot I had it!
Oh,
I was in a
Jesus
panic
Christ.
situation. Where the hell were you anyway? You left me behind.
Are they right in front of me?
About that 80 feet in front of you. You sort of see them
So they're
appear.
80 feet in front of me. Okay.
Yeah, at the doorway.
I was making the deals with a certain god to get us off this fucking island. That's where I was.
Jesus fucking Christ, Crix. He sort of looks into the ruins. He's like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here," and he walks in. Anything else for your turn, Crix?
Is that the right direction we're supposed to be going?
Yeah, he moves into the ruin.
Okay, as long as it's the right direction
Yeah.
that we're supposed to be going. Yeah, that.
It's just a random ass ruin.
I mean, that was. Yeah, let's see. I still have my turn, so.
Yep. Yeah, you just had a movement.
I might cast a.
But you do have your movement. Actually, you got knocked out before you did anything.
Yeah. I might cast a Cure Wounds.
Oh, sorry.
On myself.
It's not your turn. I skipped over Elwin. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Elwin.
That might change something.
Yeah, no worries. So I'd say at the beginning of your turn here, you obviously also see that Archon drop down much closer to you than to Tacitus. Over your left side, you can see him sort of between you and the ruin, assessing the area, and you can clearly see the creature has seen you. The mounted creature. You can also feel within yourself a sort of chaotic tug of energy coming from your vessel. So you know that there is something going on in there that isn't pleasant.
So Elwin with
Like a stomachache.
Elwin with haste at the top of his mind. I'm gonna look towards the exit, I guess, where we're all headed.
Okay.
If I make a direct beeline towards that direction, how far until it's just clear path? If that makes sense.
Clear path meaning no tentacles emerging.
Yeah.
It'd be about 40 feet in front of you. They sort of cascade down the hill and onto the pathway at this point.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is dash probably like 40 feet. Throw my scabbard another like 20 feet or so.
Okay.
And then as soon as it
throw it,
I'm gonna throw it.
Okay.
Forward?
Yep, ahead of me.
Okay.
And as soon as it lands, I'm gonna eject Briar from it.
Okay. So I'm gonna momentarily, as this was happening, Briar, you get picked up and you're sort of squeezed in the fist of Oath. At the same moment, Pasha sort of reaches out and is bringing his own sort of massive fist out and is sort of bringing a hit in towards Oath, like he's attempting to take a shot at him. I do need you to make an intelligence saving throw for me, though.
Okay. $24.
Okay.
My God.
You feel like you start to feel the invasion of your mind as the energy of Oath like forces its way into you, like through your nostrils, through your eyes. It feels very uncomfortable and very cold. You feel him obviously like reaching in. You see his face starts to glow with this reddish, ominous sort of essence behind his face. These two glowing orbs, and you feel it almost take over you. Like it tried very hard to pull in and do something, but you're able to resist and for the moment hold back. And in a moment that this is happening, you feel the anger, the fist of Pasha connects with Oath, and you're dropped out of the fist as the vessel makes contact with the ground, and the entire world sort of shakes, and you're just spit out onto the dirt pathway. Tacitus is pretty close to you, about 30 feet. Actually, about 20.
The second that Briar emerges out of the vessel, Elwin is just going to yell with like all of the urgency in the world, "Run!" as he just flies. And I'm going to keep an eye on that Archon to see what he's doing.
Okay. And is that all, Ellen?
Yeah, I'm not going to stop for my vessel because I can just summon it back to myself, so I'm just going to keep going.
Okay, so that brings us to Crix.
Alright, so I am going to heal myself. So second level 18 healing to myself.
Okay.
anything else. I'm gonna pull out my bow. I can't do anything at the moment, but I'm gonna be trying to get Tassus to, head my way. I'm looking for the other two.
Okay. I mean, looking out, you can clearly you saw Elwyn rush forward, very close to that Archon, and you saw him launch the the hilt of his blade, and Briar sort of spit out of it onto the ground. So you can see everybody out there. Briar and Tacitus are the closest to you, about 80 and 100 feet or so away equally, and Elwyn is full flight, not too far behind them.
What's the closest enemy towards Elwyn?
It'd be the Archon off on the side on that hill.
And the Archons notice him?
You can clearly see the creature, the mount, has its gaze locked on him. The individual atop, the sort of armored individual, the Archon himself, is more gazing in your direction, the direction of the ruin, like not directly at you, but in the direction of the ruin.
If allowed, I don't know how you aim in, but I'd like to aim at the animal, possibly.
Okay. Yeah, you can choose that as your target. Yeah, it's large enough. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll be aiming at it, and that'll be my turn.
Okay. Do you want to hold that action in case it does anything, or do you just want to?
Well, it's not an action.
His action was cure wounds.
Got you. Okay.
So I'm asking for like a bonus action. I can do like an aim where I can get an advantage on the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally cool with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And that brings us to Briar. So Briar, you are prone. You got, I explained everything that you experienced in there.
Yep.
Your head's still a little fuzzy as you sort of got spat out onto the ground, face first, and you are now prone on the ground. Gazing about, you can clearly see that Archon not too far to your left and behind you. In the distance, you can make out maybe half a dozen form of those shamblers sort of creeping up along the pathway as well. They're a very good distance away. But you can see those sort of shadowy tentacles also like slowly progressing along the path, increasing in range, you can assume, as the creature himself approaches. What would you like to do?
Well, I'll use half my movement to get up.
Okay.
The other half to book it, and a dash to keep booking it.
Okay.
And I would like to. Am I passing anything as I run?
Just there's some ruins in the area, like on the long sides of this pathway.
Okay, but no enemies that are going to get like opportunity attacks on me.
No enemies. No, the Archon's still a good distance away. He's not going to be able to get an attack on you.
Cool. Yep, we're running.
All right.
Oh wait.
Yes.
Could I dash a second time because I can dash as a bonus action?
I think you can only dash once per turn.
Okay, you can only take it once per turn.
I'll double check. Let me double check just in case, but I'm pretty sure that's not a thing where people would be doing that all the time, and I've never had anybody do that. Yeah,
sounds
once
like a
per turn.
rogue thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like a rogue thing to do, but no, that makes sense. Okay. I think can I rearrange it a little bit though to like hold an action to attack if something's about to attack me. But the bonus action was a dash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, that's my turn.
Okay. Tacitus.
I'll catch up with Tacitus, I think.
Yeah, you can just about catch up with Tacitus. You actually get a little bit ahead of him. You there, Guda?
Sorry, I was muted. So right in front of me is Briar.
Yep, Briar.
At the doorway is. How far behind? Oh, sorry, what was that?
You're fine. Yeah, Briar is just past you, sort of like just pushed past you. Crix is in the doorway, sort of has that massive great bow angled at the Archon and the creature. Elwyn's about 20 feet behind you.
Okay. As I'm gonna just keep running, and as I I don't know if this is like something that we can actually do, but as I pass Briar, I want to grab onto her, grab her wrist and pull her along.
You roll strength.
I'm dead.
Briar's just getting
15.
tossed around.
Should I do like an acrobat thing to like
Do you want to
keep
like?
up?
I mean, he's coming up from behind you, so this is sort of like a surprising thing for you. I'd say, do you want to resist
No.
it? Okay.
I'm surprised Hassler didn't just throw Briar over her shoulder. Just fireman carry Briar.
Yeah, as you push forward, that Minotaur comes galloping up behind you, grabs your wrist, and drags you, sort of lifting your feet off the air, almost like a rag doll, pulling you all the way the full distance to Crix.
All right.
And I'd say that the grab would have been a bonus action, Tacitus.
Sure.
So the both of you reach the doorway. Obviously not right in front of Crix, I assume, with him aiming his bow.
Yeah, to the side of him.
Anything else, Tacitus?
That's all.
Okay.
Incredible.
The Archon immediately sort of drops in, begins moving at a very quick pace towards Elwyn.
It's been real, friends.
The Archon on the back of the beast sort of keeps the reins in one hand. With his right hand, he grabs a blade, lifts it up into the air, takes a slash, which emits this sort of white gold energy that pushes towards you, Elwyn.
We might be in trouble.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
11.
The blast makes contact with you. You take 24 points of damage, and you are knocked out of flight, crashing into the ground, knocked prone.
Oh, is it a certain type of damage?
It is radiant damage.
Sick. I'm resistant.
Okay, so
Nice.
it's a tick out. Yep.
Whew.
Okay. Yeah, knocked out of the air, knocked prone. As you sort of hit the ground, you see the tentacles start to approach very quickly, and in a sort of flash of this black smoke, the shadowy creature that had been on the beach has now transported itself within about 20 feet to your side.
Oh, Jesus. Fucking.
And again lifts its arms up and begins to prepare what you've seen to be like that sort of tentacle creation.
Yikes.
Which brings us to you, Elwyn.
Yikes. Okay. I'm prone, right? That's what you said? Okay.
So have
I'm
movement to
going
get
to
up.
stand up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna stand up. So I've got an Archon to my left, you said?
Yeah, it's pushed within 40 feet of you.
And
it's moving very quickly.
And I've got the dark
this
creature.
Shadowy creature off to your side, 20 feet.
To my...
On the opposite side. So they're sort of...
the opposite side of the Archon. So I'm being pincered.
Absolutely. And you can assume that those tentacles are on their way.
Cool. Shit.
And the rest of the party you can see is in relative safety. out in front of you.
Okay, that's cool. That's very, very cool. That's great. I love that. I have no spells. I have no spells.
Dimension doorway.
I'm loving Dimension Door right now. I can take off back into the air, but I only have half my movement left. Which is less than ideal.
What's your move?
Shit. This is a very not good situation. A certified very not good situation.
It's unfortunate.
I saved prior, but this is where I go. So how much movement do I have left? Assuming I take the dash action.
With the dash, you'd have 30 feet of movement.
30 feet. How far away was I from the ruins?
About 100. So if you got up and did your full dash, you'd be about 70 away.
Okay. if I do so, the only things I'm really risking. Did it seem like the other, like the shadow creature, had attacks that were long range so far?
Those tentacles had a very long reach.
Wouldn't it also be 45 feet since getting up is half movement? Question mark.
His regular movement is 30 without flying, so it'd be 15, and then he doubled that, so 30.
Oh, a dash is just doubling. I thought
Yeah.
a dash was
It just
30
doubles.
flat.
It doubles your movement.
Okay.
Yeah, any increase or decrease to your speed changes this additional movement by the same amount. So
Tragic.
that's what it says.
I mean, it's
So-
good if it's in the opposite direction, but
Yeah.
So I can go 30 feet. I can probably get away from the tentacles. I think the only real risk would be this Archon and his long range sword / business, which if I can roll a dexterity save high enough, I'll be okay. But
It moved
don't.
very quickly and covered some distance, so
right.
it's possible that it could be able to get within melee range of you, but you're not exactly sure.
Well, the only other alternative is I stay right here and die.
Right.
I could go into the ground.
You could.
I could probably assume that there's no tentacles in front of me underground.
Not currently. So, like, you saw the creature generate those tentacles the first time. He's doing that right now again. Like, he's lifted his arms. He's sort of in that spell cast. So you know that sort of on his next round, before you're able to take action again, those tentacles are going to reappear.
Right, but it's not like they just appeared anywhere he wanted, right? There was
a pretty long cascade of them, so he picked the area and they emerged. You can guess. Okay. I'd say based on what you saw with the attacks, it's a pretty large radius that he can create them. Sort of with the attacks against the hill and against Crix.
I'm just gonna go for it and fly and hope for the best.
All right, so you pop up, get up into the air, and flap those wings as hard as you can. Move forward.
Yep.
Okay, that brings us to Crix. So you see Elwyn obviously in very dire straits at the moment, with that creature having transported itself much closer, and that Archon with the mount rushing full speed in on its opposite side. You do have that advantage shot that you could take. What would you like to do?
I would like to take that advantage shot, and I'm going to try to place the shot on. Does the creature have wings that it's flying on?
It does have wings. It's not currently flying, but the wings are propelling it. Like you can see them flapping as it's running along the ground.
I'm going to try to take a aim shot at its leg to try to
destabilize it. Okay.
Yeah. So this is with a advantage.
Yeah, and remember with that bow, you're at a +6 standard with up on top of your regular hit bonuses.
Yep. So 25.
Okay. Yeah, that's a solid hit. Roll your damage.
Ooh, that's good damage. 31.
Nice. Okay. So Elwyn, you see that shot, this glowing shot from Crix's bow. Again, it's got this purple gold, very Nyx-like energy, cosmic energy that passes by you. Strikes the leg, and you can clearly hear the creature stumble. It loses its traction as it was in a full gallop, moving towards Elwyn. Crix, you see your shot strike at its right leg, and it immediately buckles underneath that leg, spills onto the ground. The Archon atop attempts to maintain his hold on the reins and on the creature, but with a natural 1.
Yes!
Fails.
Let's go.
Loses control, loses the reins, isn't able to grapple on. He was too focused on Elwyn, didn't see that shot coming, and is pitched forward. Elwyn, to the right of you, you see the Archon sort of get thrown face first into the ground and lands about 20 feet off to your right-hand side. Anything else, Crix?
Crix is just yelling, "Runs! You hardy! Run your ass!"
I'm flying at the moment,
Jesus.
but yes.
I will take the bonus action to do something similar with the aim shot, except I'm going to aim it towards the shadowy creature doing the temple shit.
Okay. Okay, and that brings us to Briar.
I'm a running.
You're at the entrance of this place. You want to move inside?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like Tacitus dragged you, literally.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I just forgot that we had reached
Okay.
it.
Yes. So you want to move inside into the ruin?
Yes.
Okay. So the interior, you see a very small. I posted an image for you. The green flames sort of glowing this room. There's a little bit of a more of an ominous red about it as well. And there's a small canoe-like vessel made entirely of bone that Sam Stricken is actively trying to get sailing at the moment.
Oh my gosh.
So he is untethering and trying to move himself into the vessel to get out at the moment right now.
Oi! What the fuck do you think you're doing? We got you here and you're gonna abandon us?
He jumps like a mile and you come in and say, like, no, I was just getting it ready. I was getting it ready so we can just, once you guys were here, obviously,
You're
immediately.
a dirty fucking bastard. Shut the fuck up. Sit down. We'll be here in a second.
The bird is like pecking at him actively. It's,
Oh
liar!
my God.
Liar! Like, shut up! No! Stop! He's like slapping at it.
Oh, Lord.
How far away is the boat?
You're in the room. It's like 10 feet from you. There's a very small little pool of water
Okay.
that would lead out into sort of one of the riverways of the island.
I would like to go up to the boat and stay on the ground and just hold the boat.
Okay. Yeah, Sam. He's slapping at the bird. He's like, yeah. Help me out. Let's get this thing ready to go. We can just probably push forward and get in the water, and everybody else can hop in. As we're moving.
She is glaring daggers at him right now.
Or whatever you want to do. Or whatever you want to do.
Can I have a question that's very important. Can I
Sure.
hear Sam?
Yes, you can. You can hear this actively going on. You're right in the doorway.
Okay.
It's a very small room, and it's very echoed. So
I'm so happy I saved them so far.
As a player, I'm happy. As a character,
to be very honest, I'm not gonna say anything more. I'm gonna see if Bird does what I think's gonna happen because I didn't think of it.
Tacitus, it is your turn.
how far away is the nearest enemy from me?
The Archon that was previously mounted, that got thrown, he's prone on the ground, about 60 feet from you.
Okay.
Little ahead of Elwyn off to the right side of him.
H Christ, man. Okay, well, we'll just do this. I guess Tassus will hold up a hand. How far away is the shadowy creature?
It's about 80 feet. So like 20 feet behind the Archon that's on the ground. Also,
Okay.
very quickly,
He'll hold.
hold on. I just rolled something out. So you feel the axe sort of glow on your back. The Shimatsu sort of two-handed axe.
Okay.
You feel it glow, and you get almost like a vision, like the weapon is trying to communicate with you. And you see yourself sort of tossing the axe, and it going into more of like a spin, and disappearing, and then coming back to you, like arriving back in your hands.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
So I have like an echo headache, and I get this vision.